Huge. You ready to get into it?
Let's go. Come on.
All right. Thank you for being on the Loveall Sales podcast. The man, the myth, the legend himself, Texas car guy.
Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it, Brent.
Absolutely, buddy. So tell us, I love the name, Texas car guy.
Yeah.
You just shared it with me. Share it with everybody else. How you came up with the name. Let's start there.
Yeah. No, I moved to Texas 19 years ago and kind of from California. So don't stone me, but yeah, I'm from California. And I was like, I wanted to change kind of my life. I wanted to change who I was, come up with a new email. And I was like, oh, Texas car guy. I live in Texas and I'm a car guy. And that's what my handle was on Instagram, on Facebook. And I just started TikTok. I had to do Texas_car guy because apparently Texas car guy is already taken.
Have you looked it up?
No, I've tried reaching out to him. It's some guy that started a page and doesn't do anything with it really. So I got to figure out how to get it from him.
All right. So tell us about you. You are the GM of a Hyundai dealership.
Right. Yeah. So I'm the general manager of Huffines Hyundai in McKinney.
Okay.
Yeah.
And tell us about how you became the Hyundai general manager. Tell us how you got in the car industry. I know me and you have spoke, and you told me one of the funniest stories when you first got in it, where your general managers back then said you'll never sell cars through the internet.
Right. Yeah. So 20-year-old kid at the time, I'm selling cars in California, and this thing called the internet comes up, and emails are like a thing. And I had like an old Commodore 64. I was into IMAX back then. I mean, if it was a computer, I was into it. And emails were a thing. And I'm like, man, I think if we get email capture rate, I remember that. And I'm like, I'm going to sell cars through the computer. And they were like, kid, you're never going to sell cars through your computer. You're out of your mind. And here I was 20 years old, and they were probably in their late 40s, early 50s. And it's interesting because I'm now 47, very young, by the way, very young 47. Yeah, yeah. The gray is wisdom, and bald. I've got kids, so that's where I bald. But no, I thought to myself, it was probably 5, 6 months ago. Here I am, their age, right? Like, what would people that are not willing to adopt what's going on with the generation now? So the 20-year-olds now, the 20-year-old Texas car guy, what would they say to him? And I think they would say, kid, this whole internet social media marketing thing, you're wasting your time. This AI stuff's going to go away. And so it was like 5 or 6 months ago. I'm like, I've got to dive into social media marketing and AI. I want to understand both of them.
And is it working so far? I know you are blowing up on the TikTok scene. So yeah, I see you all of the time. Obviously, we started talking about a week ago, seeing you had Russ Flip Swips on your live on TikTok with who was on there last week?
Russ Flip Swips was on there. It was Abe the Goat was on there, and
Danny was
on there. Danny was on there, and Costa Creates Car Deals.
I like him.
Yeah. Yeah. And so what's funny, keep in mind, I started TikTok like 3 months ago as a car guy, and I don't know these guys. And as I'm rolling through this process, people are reaching out to me going, those are like big time names. And I'm like, oh, those are guys that came across my feed. So I love people. So I just reached out to them. Casa just so happens to live close to me. We have dealers. My dealership and his dealership are about 25 minutes away from each other.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah. So we've connected multiple times.
He is one that I really like. He just seems like a genuine guy through social media. And a lot of people like us, car people, help one another. Like I've found, I reached out to Russ 4 years ago, 5 years ago. We became friends.
Yeah.
So very helpful community. And you don't find that all the time.
I feel like you have to support each other, right? Our industry is hard. There's a lot of hours, a lot of time. We grind. I think, especially I share my story all the time. I'm a general manager and I consider myself a young GM. And people go, well, how'd you get there? And I'm like, well, you got a couple days and I'll share the story with you. You know, like I didn't just show up to the scene and become a GM. It was a lot of work, you
Yeah,
know, and I feel like there's respect given to several people. I mean, you take a look at what Russ is doing, you know, and he's, I mean, he's changing the scene, you know. So yeah, I'm proud of him, and he's a guy that I want to support, you know.
absolutely. So, what made you get into the industry? I know you said you got in when you were 20. Was your
Mhm.
parents, or did you know someone in the auto industry, or what made you get in it?
No, so I was in the car scene. I had a 78 Chevy Custom Deluxe, and I'd had like a Honda Prelude, loved cars. And I was into detailing cars, like a porter basically. I was washing cars and loved cars. And went to a Norm Reeves, big car name, Norm Reeves Chrysler Jeep Dodge back in the day,
Okay.
in California. And my girlfriend at the time, which was my soon to be wife, needed a car. And so we got a 1995, I think, 94 Dodge Neon, because nothing but the best for her. We were young, right? I was working for a bank at the time and detailing cars, and the closer at the time was there, and he's like, man, I think you'd be great at selling cars. I was actually had applied for a job at Circuit City to sell cell phones, and Circuit City was not open yet in our area. It was in Temecula, California. And I applied. They did like this mass cattle call at a hotel, and I got the job. And I was like, I got that job, so I'm gonna go buy a car, right? Smart 20-year-old or 19, whatever I was at the time.
In the
And
money before you make it, yes.
yeah, yeah.
What
And so they're like, "Hey, you'd be great selling cars." And I was like, "All right, let's do it." So yeah, I started selling cars, and I mean, it was just like there on out. I mean, yeah, I walked. If everyone, I mean, if you're watching the show or listening to the show, it's everyone knows Norm Reeves, the first Honda dealership in the United States. Norm Reeves opened it. He had passed away. Donna Reeves ran the Chrysler Jeep Dodge store. She was the owner at the time when I started. I used to walk her to her car, and yeah, nice lady. She was super sweet.
So, how many cars did you instantly? Were you just a success? Did you have to learn the process, or how did that come about?
Super competitive, right? Like was in martial arts growing up, played football in high school, and I always wanted to win. And I'll never forget it. This guy, his name was, I think he's passed away, God rest his soul, but Ken Clemens was this old car guy. I'll never forget it. Standing out in front of that store, because you stay on the point, right? You didn't, there wasn't internet leads and all that stuff. You stood out on the point, right? And this old guy, I'll never forget, he gets his Marlboros and he, you know, hits, he's smoking cigarettes. He goes, kid, you're never going to make it in this business. He goes, I'll outsell you month after month. And man, all it took was that guy to say, I'm not going to beat him. And that was my ultimate goal. And I think it was like my second month there. I sold like, I don't know, 18, 19 cars. I almost hit 20. I didn't make 20, but I beat Ken. And I said, well, man, looks like you need to move a little faster to get in front of this young kid. And we harassed each other the whole way through. And he ended up actually kind of being a mentor to me, you know, good guy, and became friends. And so, yeah, it was from there on out, worked there and then worked at a Honda store in Orange County. And I wanted to be a closer. You know, that's a whole nother story that I ended up being a closer there. But the GSM said, sell me 20 cars a month straight for 6 months and I'll make you a closer. And I did. I missed 1 month. It was like month 16, I want to say. Uh, huh? Okay. It was like month, yeah, it was like maybe the fifth or I know, no, fourth month. I didn't hit it. And I did like 17 or something like that. And so in my mind, it's like, okay, we got to start over, right? And after 6 months, he's like, all right, you did it. And I'm like, well, I didn't do it. And he goes, no, you did it. I saw you work bell to bell. You were here at the Midnight Madness sales, like the old days, you know. And he's like, you put your dedication. He's like, I got a team for you. And boy, what a learning lesson. The team that I ended up taking over was the team I was on. And boy, let me tell you, I was not the friendliest of salespeople, we'll put it that way. So leading a team that you were cocky and, you know, when it was time to lock cars, you were trying to find an up, and that was me, you know. And so I got promoted and then demoted.
What
Uh,
happened?
Well, imagine, taking over the team, leading a team that you were not a leader when you were on the team. In other words, it's a learning lesson that I tell a lot of the managers, right? I got demoted because they didn't respect me. Because I didn't respect them. I wasn't a leader, right? I didn't act as a leader on the team. And so I share that story a lot because in order to be a manager, right? They say, I want to be a manager. I want to be the boss. Well, if you can't lead yourself well, you're not going to lead a team well.
Yeah.
And I may have selfishly taken care of myself, but I was not a good team leader. I wasn't a good team player at the time. So when I got promoted, I was a great closer, but the team had no respect for me because I didn't respect them while I was on their team.
So they didn't work hard for you.
No, they didn't want to. They're like, we don't like this guy. He's a jerk. And I was, honestly, I'll be honest. I mean, I was real cocky. And so got demoted back to a salesperson and learned that lesson real quick that, hey, I need to be part of the team. And so I would be out locking cars and still one of the top dogs. And then it was probably about a year or two later, I skipped the closer job and then went to I got on the desk.
Okay.
And so,
How
but
was
it was what do you say?
a big difference
Yeah.
selling the desk?
Yeah.
Were you quick to learn it?
I think, again, you can learn how to desk a car deal. I think anyone can. I've said this for years. You can desk a car deal. It's really about leadership. It's about leading a team, um, earning their respect. I think that's really what the job's about. Training them, coaching them, getting them to have faith in you, right? Like, get up off your rear end and go close a car deal. You'll respect your team will respect you real quick.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I coach some students, and their managers don't believe in doing TOs. They'll literally send them out there 5 times. It kills me.
It's the worst. They better have a manager intro. I'm a big fan of, like, if your salesperson's got an appointment coming in at, let's say, 11:30, you better know about that appointment. And if you see that they're trading in a white Mercedes, whatever, as a manager, you better watch the lot for that white Mercedes pulling in and go and say, hello, Mr. Loveall, how you doing? Right? Because they're coming. So that's what I require my managers to do.
Yeah, me personally, I would always, even if they had an appointment, I would reach out and be like, hey, I'm the general manager. I just wanted to say thank you. We look forward to meeting you. I would do the warm intro call just so they knew who I was. Yes, when they got there, I went out there again and talked to them. So if they
Right.
ever needed me as a TO, they already knew me.
Yeah, yeah. And I do the same thing. So I'll look at, does Dion have a an appointment today at noon? And I'm gonna kind of watch his desk at noon. And if it's Mr. and Mrs. Smith, I'm gonna go out there. Oh, you must be Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Yeah. How'd you know? Oh, well, I saw you were coming in today. I want to introduce myself. I'm the general manager. I just want to thank you for coming in. For any reason you need anything throughout the process, please feel free to tell your salesperson to holler at me. I'm running around here somewhere. By the way, would you guys like something to drink? Always. So
You sound like a leader.
I do my best. Yeah, yeah. I've seen the opposite. So
And then they work hard for you, and then they love you.
they do. It's in culture, right? Like, I think that's what you do. You want to create a culture where people you want to be a leader, and I think leaders influence people, right? And so you want to influence your team to to go, hey, I've got respect for this person. So when I told them I was going to take turns and greet their customers, they were like, no, no, no. And I'm like, well, why? And the old GM he'd cut our gross and he'd get rid of people. Like, I'm like, I'm not that guy. Way different.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah,
help you close deals and won't take anything.
exactly. I want to add value. I want to add value to your process.
So you got on the desk. How
Hmm.
were you there? How did it go?
So I was on the desk for probably a year and a half. Um, so I was driving from Riverside County, Lake Elsinore, California to Honda Santa Ana, which is in Orange County. So should be a 35-40 minute drive, ended up being about an hour and a half, 2 hour with Orange County and Riverside County traffic. and tollways. And I was at that store for almost 5 years. And I think that's where this all happened. That was Midnight Madness sales. That was tent sale time. That was, hey, you're off this weekend. But by the way, we have this tent sale out in Pomona, and we'll pay for your hotel, and $500 a car. I mean, which is this whole like a circus. And I was young and wanted more money, more money. I remember I was like 24, 23, 24 years old and had a $10,000 day. Like I made that, and I was like, what? And so I finally the commute was breaking me and my family apart, and it was getting bad. And so I decided to go and work for a Toyota store, which is a little bit closer. And I was a closer at that store, which I love that job. The closer was a great job. And then decided I'm going to open up a used car lot. And I opened up a buy here, pay here.
Okay.
Um, Best friend of mine's dad owned some land in California, and there was an old like you talk about buy here, pay here lot. Like, it was bad, and apparently he wasn't a good landlord. My best friend's dad was like, "Look, I've got this land. I need this guy out of here. I'll make your rent cheap on the land, but if you could just upkeep the place and make it look better." And so we did. Gave me a good deal. Got a floor plan at Manheim. Never was a GSM or GM. Don't understand the financials. A friend of mine was a business partner, and so he did the books, and I ran the buying cars at the auction, getting them fixed. We had one technician there, and we did 30 cars, 40 cars a month. We are doing some buy here, pay here. We had a couple super ultra subprime lenders to buy some of the paper. They did like unlimited mileage car. I mean, it was crazy. I learned how to sell bulk paper to different banks. We were putting these old things called on time is what it was called. So every month they'd have to call in to get a different code to get their car to start because their credit was that bad. Yeah. So yeah, I learned so much during that time, and I ended up selling my part of the business. And at that time, that was like right near well, we moved out of California in '06, and a friend of mine came to Texas that I went to high school with and said, "Hey, we're moving to Texas." And I saw their house. It was like brand new home for 120, 130 grand. I'm like, what? You kidding? You can't rent a cardboard box for that in California. And we at that time we were having our third kid and needed a bigger home. And I told my wife at the time, I said, "Hey, do you want to move to Texas?" And she's like, "Yeah." So we
That
just yeah, about a year. It was a year process of, searching and looking. And a friend of mine's sister is a realtor here in Texas. And I was like, yeah, I want to live kind of in between McKinney and Denton because those are both really good car towns from what I understand. And that's what I did.
So what happened when you got there?
So we bought a house. It was, like being built from the ground up. I bought a house without my wife here. She was pregnant. We just had she was still pregnant with now is my third daughter, and or my third child. And I came here and was like, "Hey, found a house, I'm gonna buy it." And she's like, "All right." We had our daughter like 2 weeks later. We drove out to see the house because she had not even seen Texas. Crazy. I mean, I'm an activator. That's one of my strengths is like I'm an
Oh,
activator. Huh?
you're a builder.
Yeah, yeah. And so when I came out here to show her Texas, I was like, "Hey, I'll bring a couple suits and shirts and ties. I'll just kind of fill the waters out. I'll interview and see what happens." I interviewed at one place, and they're like, "Man, you've got a great resume. You're a guy we'd love to have. We still have a spot." And I was like, "Hey, no big deal." Went to the next place and interviewed. Did a second interview, a third interview, and they hired me on the spot. And they were like, "We need you in 2 weeks. Could you be back in 2 weeks?" Well, our home was like 6 to 7 months out from being built. And I was like, "Yeah, well, let's figure it out." And so the guy who hired me, he said, "Yeah, my daughter just graduated college, so you can just stay at my house until you find an apartment." So literally drove back to California, brought my stuff. I came out by myself so I can get an apartment for a wife and kids. And I worked at that Toyota store for 11 months. and walked off the job. I was a sales manager. They hired me as a sales manager there. Walked off the job there. Didn't like the ownership. Didn't like the way they were operating. And do what?
In what way?
So they wasn't in your pay plan, but if there was a mistake made, like if you mess up a rebate, which if you work for a Toyota store, especially Gulf States, it's like a whole algorithm to figure out if a rebate qualifies. It's a whole deal. Well, what they did is that if you messed up a rebate, you and the finance, so the desk manager and the finance manager that messed that up paid 100% of that rebate back on their washout check. And so they did it once, and I said, shame on me. I didn't know that was a thing. I said, but if y'all ever do that again, I'm out. Like, I'm not going to tolerate that. There's not a car dealership in the world that I know of that's going to take 100% of a mistake out of a sales manager and F&I manager's deal. And it was like, that was like at month 6 or 7. Month 11 came by. Another mistake happened with me and an F&I manager. He converted from incentivized rate to rebate to get a higher. Yeah, he converted it back in the box. And I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that, back in the box, in the finance office. and they charged my paycheck. I literally was in the middle of desking a car deal and just put all my stuff in my seat and walked off. I called my wife at the time and said, hey, you need to come pick me up. I'm quitting. She's like, what? And I go, and you come pick me up. I got to leave my demo here. And she picked me up and walked off the job.
Did they ever call you or
Oh,
say?
yeah. Oh, yeah. They wanted me to come back and apologize. And yeah, you're right. We shouldn't do it. And I was like, nope, you did it once. Shame on me. Second time, shame on you. I won't work for a company like that.
Good for you.
Yep. And so yeah, I ended up getting hired on at Huffines, which they've been in business for 101 years. That's where I currently work. Family owned and operated, third generation. It's like there are 3 stores in this North Texas Metroplex that people like strive to work for, and Huffines is on that 3, I would say. I mean, even today when I interview people are like, I want to work for this store, or Huffines. And so it's a blessing, and such a Mr. Huffines and the Huffines family have treated me unbelievable. I mean, I've joked around, but I feel like I'm serious. Like if I got fired or let go for whatever reason, I don't know if I'd want to get back in the car business.
Really? Okay.
I'd maybe do something else. Yeah. Yeah. Wouldn't work for one of the big stores. You know what I'm talking about there.
I do.
Couldn't pay me enough.
They, yeah, I used to work for AMSI.
Oh yeah. Oh wow.
So I worked for them for 5 years. So yeah, so I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. I won't do it.
So you walked off after 11 months. Then you got there. What brand were you selling? Was that the Subaru dealership?
So yeah, so left the Toyota store and then actually got hired on at the Chevy store with Huffines. In that Chevy store was a Subaru store.
Okay.
So it was Chevy Subaru at the time. And Mr. JL Huffines. So right now Ray Huffines owns it. JL was dad. JL was alive when I got hired in 07, September of 07, September 7th of 2007. I got hired with Huffines Auto Group, and it was Chevy and Subaru. Got hired on as a finance manager there, so I did have finance background. Oh, I skipped that part in the story, but yeah, did do finance and special finance for a while in California, and which I didn't want to work finance. My least favorite position of all is finance.
Wow.
I'm not an I dot or T crosser. I mean, not that I'm not. I'd prefer not to have to do that. Like, at the time, just not my thing. It's a hard job too, right? You've got to build rapport in 3 minutes. Yeah, yeah. So there's a special place in our industry. F&I guys, man, I give them mad props. Or they have a very hard job.
I've never done it. That's
Yeah,
never even had a passion to want to do it.
yeah. I enjoyed special finance. I started a special finance team at a Chevy store in California, and I really enjoyed helping people that could, like, dealers don't want to put effort into helping people like that out. I Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was a grind, but I enjoyed that. So yeah, I got an F&I job here. I really want to be an assistant sales manager. I got an F&I job at the Chevy Subaru store. And within 3 months, they put me on the desk and I was an assistant sales manager there. And Mr. Huff, and like I said, I think I told you earlier, but we were selling 7, 8, 9 Subarus. We did 10 one month and it was like high five, let's party. Yeah. Back then it's like if they came in looking for a Subaru, it was a Chevy Subaru store. If they came in looking for a Subaru, it was like extra $100 if you switch them to a Chevy. Like that was the attitude. And Mr. JL Huffines walked downstairs one day and he pulled me up in his office and he goes, I understand you have some import background. And at the time I'm like, import, I'm thinking import export.
Yeah.
Well, he on my resume saw that I worked for that Honda store. I worked at a Honda store for a long time. And I said, import. And he goes, the Honda store. And I said, oh, yeah, import vehicle. Yeah. And he goes, I want you to be the guy that turned this Subaru store around. And I was like, boy, this guy must not like me at all. Uh, so yeah, that was in late 07, maybe early 08. And I was like, all right. And when I say that timeline, 07, 08, what happened at that time?
That's the crash.
Yep, that is the crash. And so during that time, I think we sold like 12 Subarus at one point. During that time, Chevy reorganized their dealer agreements and said that they cannot have a dual point store. So Subaru had to get out, no longer could, yeah. And so, and up the street in a town called Corinth, I was in Louisville, up in Corinth, we lost our, it was a Chrysler Jeep Kia store. They lost Chrysler Jeep during that time frame, and so there was an empty building up there. Kia moved into the big building, and they moved our Subaru store into a small building. And so Mr. Huffines approached me. It was in '09, December of '09, and he said, "Hey, Subaru's going to go up the street. They're going to have their own place, and Subaru has requested that if we're going to do that, that they want you to go up there and run it." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm going to have to like live off just Subarus." And he's like, "No, I know you're a used car guy, and so we're going to make you the GSM of that store." So I was over pre-owned and Subaru at that time. Stayed there for 17 years.
You've seen a massive, massive change over 16 years, Subaru.
Oh my gosh, right? Like so much that the VP of Subaru of America and I are actually friends. He used to be our old regional VP. He and I are friends. He's like the number 2 guy, I know Jeff Walters, who's the CEO of Subaru. I've got his cell number. I've got Troy Poston. Like I know Subaru and I bleed blue still to this day. I've got some deep, deep roots with Subaru. And so, yeah, that was a very hard transition for me to leave this store and go to Hyundai. So,
Do you like it in the terms of like the product in terms of, because Subaru is completely different than Hyundai.
oh,
Completely.
for sure.
So what's the upsides? What's the downside?
Yeah, Subaru and Hyundai are like apples and cactuses. You know what I mean? Like completely different. I will tell you, it was hard a year ago, but take the auto industry in general and look at those 2 brands. I think the man upstairs has really followed me and said, "Hey, I'm going to put you with the next biggest, best brand." And I have seen Hyundai in the past year just the industry. Yes, yeah. And Subaru, unfortunately, not doing so well, And so, they just redesigned the Palisade, an amazing product. The new Santa Fe, amazing. I mean, got some good looking product, 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty that comes with. I mean, there's a lot I mean, I think top of the line on all of our cars, exclude maybe the EV9 or the Ionic 9. Sorry, because I've got Kia on my location too. Um, Under 60 grand, fully loaded. Yeah,
Amazing.
yeah.
So how many new ones do you sell each month?
When I took this store over, it was averaging about 74 a month. We're averaging it's like 117 a month now, just new cars. Used, we're in that 125 to 150.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's a
that's just
status.
we're just starting.
Yeah, that's stud. Almost doubled it in one
Yeah,
year.
we're just starting. Well, this next year, I anticipate us to regularly run 140 to 150. 150 is my goal.
Okay. And share with me your vision in the terms of you want to have all influencers work for you because me and you were talking off camera. So tell me about your game plan. I loved it.
I'm telling you, I think, sharing that story back to kid, you're not going to sell cars online. I would love to be able to cut my advertising budget in half or next to nothing and have a sales floor of influencers, right? That do so well, that promote themselves and the dealership so well in organically gain so much market share that I can take the crazy amount of money that us dealers spend in advertising and share those dollars with a floor of creators. And so I'm putting together pay plans and I get excited talking about it, but I'm putting together pay plan.
And like I can
I'm
tell.
telling you, man, it literally on month end, I'm putting together like my whole game plan. Yeah, keep in mind, this 20-year-old kid knew at the age of 45 I was going to be a GM, and I planned my path to get there. And so here I am. And now I know like what's the next thing. This floor of influencers is gonna happen. Uh and I'm gonna be able, so yeah, pay plans I'm putting together. Like I have an idea of higher flats on influenced social media influenced customers, right? Higher minis, different like unit bonuses for those cars sold. We're still going to sell cars regularly, like online and you know, the conventional way we're doing business. But we're gonna have this other book of business, I think, and that's gonna next level us. And I would love. I mean, I got to tell you, there's nothing more that I'd be excited about than to show the naysayers that this truly works.
100% well said. Well said.
Mhm.
So like me, when I was running the dealership, my last dealership, I would pay them 150 bucks on top of what they make if they generated their own deals. And it just forces them because they're greedy people, salespeople. That's why we want commissions. And they started generating leads like crazy.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
absolutely.
That's my goal. I'm so passionate about it. So yeah.
So how many cars does the number one salesperson at your store sell a month?
We just looked at that today too. So my top guy right now is for the year like 186 cars, I believe, for the year. So whatever that calculates out to, a little bit north of 20 a month.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. He's great, been there a long time. He's kind of the unicorn. He doesn't take a lot of fresh ups because he's got just, a large amount of business.
Does he do social media?
No,
No.
zero. He's of the mind that he's okay, I'll be good. And it's like, I'm gonna let you do your thing, but I'm telling you right now, there's gonna be a floor of creators that are gonna run circles around you at some point. So some of my team is jumping on board and they get it, and I'm talking to them about consistency and don't worry about what you look like on camera. And I'm teaching them all that stuff. I don't know if it was Russ. I don't know if it's something I came up with. I can't remember. Maybe I heard it somewhere, but I'm like, if you think you're ugly on the camera, realize they're going to come in and see you. I don't know if I came up with that myself or if I heard it somewhere, but it's a fact. Like, if you think you're worried about how you look on camera, they're going to come in and see you anyways. So don't worry about it. Yeah. Yeah.
So, what is your biggest challenge right now from a GM standpoint?
So growing up in variable operations, right? So on the sales side, being a new GM and not really diving into fixed operations, which is service and parts, man, I'm learning so much. And I got to be honest, I'm really enjoying it. It's it's so crazy the opportunity back there. not only the opportunity, but the opportunity missed, the opportunity to gain. But very similar when you really break it down. Service and sales are not very different from each other. It's just a different mindset.
The different mindset. Yeah, you and me come from sales. So when I was going to NADA week 3 is service. Learned so much. My goodness.
Yeah,
Like loved it. Loved it.
yeah, yeah. Like I did NCM, so NCM was like it was like drinking from a fire hose when they're talking about service. I'm like, oh, I'm in the numbers, right? And so I'm like, wow, there's so much opportunity back here. So yeah, I'm learning a ton. I'm enjoying it though too.
Okay. So what's the
Mhm.
number one thing that you've learned so far from the fix side?
Um, SOP is something I dove into, special order parts that are ordered. That's money that I think a lot of people don't what's the word I'm looking for? Like there is the level of intensity of getting those people in, like the sense of urgency, and those could be dollars sitting on your part shelves that unless there's a solid process, which we didn't have a process for that when I started. So special order parts is good. Looking at the effective labor rate, I think that's another opportunity watching the team's effective labor rate. I'm on Reynolds and they built me just a dashboard that I have on a big screen in my office where I'm in tune with what service is doing, what sales is doing, and I watch each advisor's ELR, daily, hourly almost. It's crazy.
It's
So
amazing. I
yeah.
hope yeah, you sound like me. You like learning, so
Yes.
you'll catch on.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
What's next for you in the terms of like where do you want to go? What's your vision? I know what you sell from a new and used standpoint. What's the
Mhm.
goal in the terms of sales? Where do y'all want to go? Where do you want to get to monthly new and used?
You know, big picture, I think we could be at that. We have a sister store. It's in Plano. It's another Hyundai store, and they're peaking over 190 to 200 plus cars a month. They're doing it already. A lot larger store, bigger, larger population in that area. So a little different, but the area that I'm in is growing drastically, and I think in the next 6 to 7 years, with the creators on the floor, with changing some processes. I think we can get there a lot faster than they did. And so that's really kind of my long-term goal. Well, I say long-term, couple year goal is I think we can be there 2 to 3 years. After that, I got another something up here I'm working on. I'm not going to disclose it, but my personal goal, I'll tell you something I want to do is something you're doing. I'm doing all this social media content stuff. I really want to have my own podcast. I've wanted one for years, and I've got a vision of running a podcast and helping people in our industry out. So
Absolutely. You're going to succeed.
I appreciate that. Yeah, it's something I want to do for years. So I watch you, I watch others in our industry that are doing it. I've read some books on how to start one. I'm just taking my time and when the time is right, I'm gonna launch one.
Do you
And
know
I'll
the
have
name?
you on mine. I'll have you on my podcast one day.
Do you know the name of it? Is it going to be Texas Car Guy?
No, it's not gonna be Texas Car Guy. I've come up with a couple names for it so far. Um, but my goal for it is I want it to be myself, and I'm a big fan of like guests, right? Not like how you and I are, but like having a couple people on it. And the name that I'm loving so far is Where Worlds Collide is
Okay.
the name that I like. I'd like to have a 20-year-old, which I've got one already that I think would be really good. I'd like to find a 30-year-old and then myself in my 40s
Okay.
and really share the stories of like what is it like the 20-year-old that just graduated from TCU that is now getting into the auto industry on the marketing side, right? What does graduating college look like and finding a job and you've got your degree and the struggles you're going through, and then the 30-year-old can share what the struggles are once you've landed that job, you've done it for a while, then you owned a home and you've got kids and you're in that phase of life, and then you've got my perspective of I've been through that and here's where I am now. So where worlds collide so that we can potentially get 3 generations of people tuned into the podcast. And for people that like to learn, they can we can share our stories with others.
Absolutely. That sounds amazing. I love the title too.
Yeah, yeah. So we've got where worlds collide is kind of the exciting one, and we've got a logo. So we're slowly working on it.
Tell me this much. When you hire a new salesperson, what do you look for in a salesperson?
I've got a video on it. You got to go on to follow me. It's Texas Car Guy, but I'll share with you. It is one thing I look for is people that are previous athletes. I look for that, and the reason being, the video will tell you, but it is you understand competitiveness,
Yes.
and you understand the coaching athlete. You understand what it's like to be coached. You should, right? The good ones do.
Yes.
Um, that's one of them. I love people that ask me questions, that interview me, because not only are you interviewing for yourself, but you ought to show concern about what's in it for you. And so you should ask the interviewer questions. I love people like that. They're engaged. And man, you better dress to impress. Like, don't show up in jeans and a t-shirt. Wrong industry, you know? So call me old school, but that's a big deal to me.
Do you, as the old saying go, hire slow, fire fast, or how long do you give somebody before you kind of ask them to leave?
Man, that is such a big saying in our industry, right? Hire slow, fire fast. I am the guy that loves Rudy, that loves the bad news bears. I love turning someone. I love the success story, and I'm going to invest into that person. And I've done it a few times. I just was hanging out with one recently years ago. She was working in the service BDC, just running Carfaxes and trying to sell cars that way. That was way back a while ago. You know, there wasn't the auto alerts and the trade pendings and the all those companies that are out there that help mine and service. But she did that, and I saw something in her, and she was the quiet. No, I couldn't. No way. And long story short, sitting with her, gosh, probably 12, 13 years later, she's here at my house at a Halloween party, and she's an F&I manager and just doing fantastic. And everyone told me she ain't gonna, no way, no way. And I'm like, all right, we're gonna do it. And so I've got a few of those stories. I love that. So I'm a sucker.
Investing in people, anybody, if you poach somebody, I love poaching people, but they can get poached from you too. If you train them and build them up, they're loyal to you forever.
Hmm. Well, it's funny. We had a finance person that we just hired, and the director originally was like, "No, I need to find someone that's turnkey. I want someone with experience." And I'm like, "Yeah, but if you find the right person that understands finance and maybe not in the car business, but is just a smart, you're not willing to invest in them. Like I'm willing to, and that's very rare, right? But and we do like to promote within. We just didn't have that opportunity. Very rare. And I hired our Capital One rep. She wasn't a finance person, but she understands the industry. And remember, I told you we have the top performing finance team in the group. She's
Yep.
part of that team, and she's doing amazing. Struggling a little bit, right? She's a rep, and she's like, "Oh, I could do that." She's even admitted, like, "Boy, it wasn't all it was caught up to be," but she's enjoying it.
She's learning. So,
Yeah, and she loves it. So
so when you get a new salesperson, what's your best advice to like just they have no experience? How do they just flourish? How do they take off?
love that question. It was asked to me in an interview a few years back, and I was like, "Well, that's a good question. I should have an answer for that," and I do. So my answer is this: you need to either have a customer in front of you or be doing what it takes to get someone in front of you. Anything outside of that, you're wasting your time,
Yes.
right? So if you're standing up front on the point, are you really waiting for an up? Are you watching your emails? Are you sending texts? Are you doing video? Like, you need to be actively working on getting someone in front of you or have someone in front of you.
Okay. I love it.
Yeah.
So producing activities.
Activity breeds activity. And I think the whole sales floor, as long as you got the whole sales floor being active, you'll have a successful team.
how long do you give someone if they're not meeting their quotas? How long do you give them to truly figure it out?
Everyone grows at a different rate, and I feel like you need to know your people well. Some guys are going to hit the ground running and sell a bunch of cars, and some people aren't, but you hired them. So I'm not a big fan of, oh, I hired them. I didn't invest in them, and because they're not naturally good at it, I'm going to let them go. I won't let someone go and tell you, and like you have said, man, I have invested and put all my resources into this person. If you don't do that, I think you're failing yourself.
Yes. So when you
So
say put all of the resources, what all resources are you referring to?
I mean, if you're made it as a sales manager in our industry, you better dump your knowledge. You better be spending time with them. You better be showing them how the process works, like the meet and greet, determine needs, present, demo, settle, closing. You better be taking turns on that for that salesperson. You better be out there closing their car deals. You better make sure that you're not the one filling them, that they're the one filling. If they're the ones filling themselves and you're not filling them, then I'm okay with that. But that sales manager better invest in that person because you said, I want to hire him.
And something that you said to me before we got on the camera really stuck out because not that many GMs do TOs.
Right.
You're willing to do TOs. What do you say to the managers who don't do TOs?
Doesn't get out of the car business, man. Like you gotta that chair that you have earned, hopefully you earned that chair to be a sales manager. Your job is to be the example, right? And you're gonna be the example one way or the other to these people. You're gonna be the example of laziness, or you're gonna be the example of a leader that gets up and shows that salesperson how to do the job so that you potentially have a floor of salespeople that go, because I learned from my sales manager, because he got up and helped me close a car deal. He went and introduced himself. He invested not only in me, but the customer. Uh, then they all of a sudden go, you know what, you've influenced me to be who I am. And you've got a team of people that just believe in you. And so, yeah, sales managers that don't get up out of their chair, that's a no fly zone for me.
So would you employ somebody that didn't do TOs?
No, no, you can't. You're not going to work with me.
I love it.
Yeah, zero. Yeah,
Like I was my motto, I always thought when I had a team is I wanted to be them their mentor. I wanted to like you you look up to me, I help you, you help me, but I necessarily like I'm gonna give everything to you. TO,
right.
take their car to detail, take their car to fill up, whatever you need. I'm your biggest fan, is what I would always say.
Oh, for sure. And I'll tell you, like I got back from lunch the other day and I saw customers out on the lot. You're not going to see me go, hey guys, I'm going to go, you need to go grab, I'm going to grab the customer. I'm going to talk to them out on the lot. I'll go grab keys. I'll go on it. They saw me go on a test drive a couple weeks ago and they're like, oh my God, the GM's on a test drive. And they'll walk out because you know what they do, right? They'll walk out like, oh, there's a deal. My GM's out there. Let's go take care of them. I go, no, I got it. You guys are good. Go back inside and I'll go on a test drive. I'll do a whole deal. Don't make me because I will. I'm not afraid to. I'll do it.
Tell me this much: when that happens, do you give it to somebody or
No,
house it?
nope. I'll usually do it on my own. If there's a guy that I feel like maybe is this close from hitting a bonus, or I've seen him trying, I may turn it, but I'll do the whole deal from beginning to end. Luckily, it's not gotten that far yet. I mean, I've been on a test drive, came back and worked a car deal and then toss the keys to a salesperson and showed them how to do a delivery. And so I've done that so far.
I did it many, many times every single month. And I would always set a competition like whoever sets the most appointments today gets the deal. Whoever sells the most cars for the entire week, they get the deal. I would make it where they actually have to raise up, level up, and then I'll give it out to them.
Yeah. Yeah, they call them the house deals, right? Like everyone wants to know like what my model is, like if I've got a referral or something, and it's super simple. Who's the top person that month? I give it to the top guy always. And they're like, really? I feel like you should give it to the bottom guy. No, you got to work,
Did
man.
it.
Yeah, the top guy is the one that's been working. I want to give it to the one that's been working their tail off.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Love it. Me and you think a lot alike in that
yeah,
regard.
yeah.
So, any parting words, any recommendations, anything for salespeople listening to this, managers, like share some just encouraging words for people in the industry.
So managers, don't forget this: speed of the leader, speed of the team. Your team's watching you. And so when you're active and you're involved and you're creating a culture of trust and influence, you're going to have a great sales team. If you're the manager that says, or the leader that says, do as I say, not as I do, you're going to struggle. And I say that from a point of, like, I've been that guy, and I think I told you I got demoted. I think I may have shared that whole story. Yeah. And so make sure that you're a leader of leaders, because you are leading the future leaders. So I say that to them. I think for salespeople in the industry today, be consistent, constantly be working on someone getting in front of you. Don't give up. There's no such thing as a bad day. There's bad moments. If you consider it a bad day, that's your choice. You choose if it's a bad day. So I believe in bad moments, and that's maybe a time with a customer, but there's no such thing as a bad day. And for salespeople also, you can in your mind be having a bad month, but you can have a great month in one day. So that's what this business is about. And so don't give up on yourselves. Get out there and grind, because that's what this business is about. It's not easy. If it was easy, everyone would be doing it. And so you took the chance on yourself, and so don't give up on yourself. Keep going.
Well said. All right.
Thank you.
It has been an absolute pleasure. I learned a lot from you.
Well, Brent, I appreciate you bringing me on. I've heard a lot of great things about you, and hopefully one day when I have a podcast, we'll have you on there. But hey, tell your followers and people that are watching you, you're going to be on a live with me. I believe it's November 25th. It's on a Tuesday.
November 25th in the evening time. I think you said like 10 o'clock.
It's 9 p.m. Central, Tuesday, on TikTok. If you follow me, Texas Car Guy, we're gonna do the same kind of format. We'll have Sheridan, who's on there with me, and just answer questions. We've had a lot of followers. I think, matter of fact, you were on the live when Russ was there. I think we had over 300 people on the live, and great engagement. So they've been really good. I've been enjoying it. So
Awesome. It was an absolute pleasure. Where can everybody find you? TikTok, Facebook,
So yeah, so TikTok, I'm Texas_car guy. Be careful, because there's someone out there that has Texas_car guy that has my picture, and he's been throwing it around. So watch out for that one. Texas_car guy. You'll see my videos. On Instagram and Facebook, I'm Texas Car Guy. You'll find me there. And yeah, I'd appreciate you following me. I try to do my best to put positive information out there for people in our industry. And my model, that the thing that I always say: for more tips and tricks, make sure you follow me, Texas Car Guy. So
all right,
please
brother.
follow.
It was an absolute pleasure. We'll definitely stay in contact and absolutely crush November.
Thank you, Brent. Appreciate your time. Thank you.
Cheers, buddy.
All right. Bye.